Hello and welcome to another Near Running Cast. As always, my name's Johno, and I'm joined once again by Joey. How are you doing, Joey?
I am doing okay.
Great. So in this game, we have got the second semi-final from the UK Nationals that took place at the UK Games Expo in Birmingham in May. And on the left, we have Marc Valles from Spain playing his Whizzard. We haven't actually seen this during the Elimination, but it's quite an interesting deck. And on the right-hand side, we've got Tim playing his NEH. Now, we've definitely seen Tim, and we've definitely seen his NEH throughout the cut and before, indeed. So, now we both know Tim's NEH is all the way fast advance.
Yeah, it's not all. This deck isn't all the way fast advance. He hasn't spent all of his influence on Bioclaver.
You're right.
That way,
it's got grails and things like that.
Yeah, sure it is. But it is definitely not got. Yeah, it's a fast advance deck, but
it's very asset heavy. So it's fair to say that Whizzard is going to do some work in this game.
Yeah, I imagine he is. Yeah, it's actually quite good. I think it's the reason that Whizzard has done so well. The reason I took Whizzard on the day is that NEH versus an RP being the two prevalent decks, they both the main thing they have in common is they both have lots of assets. So Whizzard does good there.
That's true. Yeah. So both of those archetypes are very popular on the day and still, although less in the very recent past. But Whizzard is very strong. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's hard to take for both of them in terms of speed because one's very fast and one's very slow. But the one thing they have in common is lots of assets. So Whizzard, there is definitely some logic to Whizzard. If your deck doesn't rely on Noise's ability or things like that, you can give Whizzard a go. It's good anarch.
Yeah. Okay, so a good show of the slightly different decisions that Whizzard makes you make as an opponent. He just ran the Jackson, and Tim used it, I don't know, not suboptimally, but to return a Sansan City Grid and a Hedge Fund. Yeah. And a face down card, but there was already a Jackson on the table. So
the Sansan was trashed because he was Whizzard. You wouldn't have normally trashed that, I think.
That's right.
But for 2 credits, done.
Yeah. So once a turn, you're going to trash Jackson for 3, trash the Sansan for 2. That's, you'd take that. And Marc seems happy, at least in this very early game, to have no rig. He's just happy to, load up. He's staying rich. He's got money available to him, and he's got Wizards, so he's just going to start trying to blow everything up. There's an argument if Tim should maybe ice, just do a bit of gear checking, trash the blacklist for free. Why not?
Blacklist, and it means if he goes in, he sees one less card.
That's
one
true.
Less, he can't
he
see
can
that
access again. That's good. It's strong. Okay, so now that you've seen Merlin and you can see his reaction,
I don't believe Marc knew that he was playing against Grail NEH.
He may not have. Based on his reaction, yes.
I'm pretty sure that was a surprise to him.
So now he's very willing. He's very unwilling to start face checking ice, especially because he knows there's a Grail Merlin in hand. So Merlin on the table straight away is going to do 4 net damage.
It's quite lucky for him. He saw that in hand.
He could easily have just checked this R&D, speculatively. So. Do we think the Merlin might be the thing that's installed? I guess maybe not. It might
possibly.
Maybe. I guess you want to keep your Grail in hand. Continued war on assets, Trash and Sansan.
Yeah, the problem with Grail Ice is you can't really spare it to protect all these assets. You need pop-up windows
you can't play wide,
to protect them.
Yeah.
But you need to keep the Grail pieces in hand, so they're very important. So.
But now that Tim's ice both of his centrals, I guess we expect Marc, given that he's playing against Grail, to finally start putting down breakers.
Yeah, and what breakers will they be though? Is it going to be the Anarch Suite?
Eater
Keyhole?
Well, I think we saw a glimpse of an Eater in his hand. Yeah,
it's
got an Eater in his hand.
And it goes down.
So that goes straight down. Okay, so now he can faithfully safe check centrals. Of course, he's going to struggle to access without another breaker solution.
Sure, but it is great. Against Grail, because normally you need your whole rig to run against any ISO when you Grail, but Eater fixes that problem. At least he's safe whatever happens.
So Tim reses a Lancelot and rules Galahad and Merlin, so he's already on 3 Grail sub ice.
Maybe he doesn't need to break all of them.
He doesn't, because he can't access. He actually did break all of them. It's possibly a misplay. Customer credit, but
customer credit. Yeah. So he obviously wants to break the Lancelot sub and the Merlin sub. He doesn't have to break the Galahad sub.
He doesn't have to break the Galahad sub to win the run, because And same thing here. So he's going to hit a Galahad. So again, he doesn't need to break the Galahad sub, just the Merlin. But instead he pays 3 again. He could have paid 1 just to break the Merlin sub. So. Having said that, you can't criticise him. It's the end of an incredibly long day.
It's a very long day.
And it's just something, you just break all the subs, you don't really think about it.
Although not all of his influence went on Bartic Labour, some certainly did. But it is Bartic Labour. I think that's his only Bartic Labour in the deck, and it just went on a Beal. So that's
it's a bit strange. So maybe he just had the Beal in hand, and he was worried about. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Yeah, maybe he just wanted to get it out. Maybe he's got Sansan on the table.
I think if he's got Sansan on the table, he's needing to protect that because obviously Marc is trashing everything he can. So yeah, he needs to get Sansan protected. Now that he hasn't scored an Astro script, he needs to still have fast advanced tools.
And he's obviously put a wraparound on this remote. So I guess the expectation here is that he's put it there to prevent Marc from checking it. He has to get another breaker just to find out what it is.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's a Sansan or something like that. I don't really know. But you can guess that in kind of against a more typical opponent, that wraparound would have gone R&D or would have gone just somewhere to make his centrals more taxing. R&D is obviously a great candidate.
Yeah, we've got to assume there's going to be a keyhole somewhere because he's got Isa out and San out.
So we've got another Galahad and Marc breaks subs again, but obviously cannot access. So I guess this is the way to play against Whizzard. Is if you're going to install assets, you have Whizzard Eater at least. If you're going to every asset has to have one piece of ice, just one. As long as it has an end the run on it, that's fine. So obviously this is the kind of way he's going to play.
It is a way to play, and Tim's done well to keep 2 Grail pieces back. Because my problem is when I often play Grail, is that I want to do this, but it means depleting my entire Grail supply in my hand, and therefore all of the ice gets a lot less spiky. So you need to hold 2 pieces back and still try and go wide. That's quite hard if you don't draw all the ice.
So Marc's going to need another pressure solution because Eater isn't going to help now that everything's iced. I mean,
I don't know, if he gets a keyhole down, it will start helping.
Yeah.
It'll put a lot of pressure on Tim.
Yeah. So Knight will allow him to check the remotes. So now we can keep Marc honest. Keep Tim honest. It isn't NAPD. He's going to leave it because obviously he can't use Wizard's ability on that. It's not a crash cost.
But even if that was a Sansan, he wouldn't have been able. He was left with 1 credit.
Yeah, you're right.
Wizards,
Actually,
so
you're right.
He trust the Sansan. So.
Maybe if it was a pad or something like that. And he needs to find out. So what about Tim? Now Tim's just moneyed up here, but it's interesting that he didn't trash this wraparound. This Knight is going to cause issues. He could have put something else in front of the NAPD. But instead he did nothing with the NAPD, and Marc's obviously gone back now to steal it the next turn and trash DBS as well.
Clearly, for 1 credit, that DBS is going to be incredibly.
That's a great decision.
Yeah.
So and even now, I'm willing Tim to trash this wraparound to kill the Knight.
It can only really break wraparound realistically because on the Grail it's going to cost 6 credits, and that's just we get an Astro scored, so that's clock ticking now. For
second Bartic. I'm not calling you a liar, Joey.
Oh really? That was another Bartic.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, 17 influence. So I was thinking because 9 on Grail. And I was thinking, 6 left, so we can't have... No, but it's not true. There's 8 left after the 9 Grail.
We didn't necessarily go... I guess you would golden on Grail. I don't want to guess what he's got in his deck, but...
Yeah, you run Grail, that's 9. So that's all of his influence. 9 points on Grail and 8 points on Bartic.
Maybe that's all he needs, yeah. So an Inject trashes a couple of programs, but does get him 2 cards, including another Liberated Accounts. So he obviously used Liberated Accounts in the last few turns to kind of get very rich.
Do you like Inject? Do you ever use Inject?
I almost never play Anarch. But if I did, I would... Maybe. I think it would depend on the deck.
I'm not a big Inject fan, but I've always run Wildside no matter what deck it is. I'm like, Wildside's going in, even before Chronotype, so... But I've never liked Inject.
I guess programs are useful, so...
Yeah. And I spend precious influence on clone chip so that I can parasite even more.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the parasites in the bin always.
But I guess it lets you draw into resources and that kind of thing.
I mean, it's good draw efficiency, but I think with Street Peddler now, Inject should almost not. To me, Street Peddler is like better than Diesel, and Inject is very much not.
Yeah, maybe you're right. So another argument against Inject then is Tim's obviously rest of Blacklist once Galahad. So even if Marc has some way clone chips or something, he won't be able to get those things out of the bin until he can get in there, and he's obviously going to struggle to get past that Galahad. Without another breaker option or an inside job, but you're not going to see influence on that.
He does have the clone chip on the table, so
okay.
There's a parasite in the bin, but it can't be used.
He can't use it. That's right. So I think it was well timed.
Now I'm
blacklist
100%
res.
with you. He needs to trash the knight. Tim needs to trash that knight.
He should,
because otherwise
that knight,
he will get into the blacklist.
That's right. I mean, I would kill it anyway because you feel fairly good if you've got a bunch of end run ice on everywhere. That Eats is going to struggle. So scores out of breaking news. So he's on 5 points now. He's still got the Astro counter. So he's just waiting for the last Astro or even Bill to show up. He's just waiting. He's just going to draw, right?
Even even if that's an NAPD.
He installed ice and didn't install it on the night. Tim, what are you doing? Come on. Maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe I'm overrating it. It is going to cost Mark 6 credits if he moves it to try and get into the blacklist. And the blacklist is not exactly part of Tim's plan. It's just an annoyance that he was able to set up.
Sure, but it definitely...
It's going to cost him a click and then another click and 6 credits to run and then Whizzard, I guess.
Tim would be in a stronger position if that knight and wraparound was just not there. And so... I think I agree with you there, but as you said, 5 points an Astro counter and only an Eater down, no keyhole, probably too late for that now anyway.
Yeah, I mean...
So he has to go after the blacklist.
Yeah, so he has gone after it, yeah. So he's going to click to move it and then run. So 3 Ice Galahads.
6 credits.
So 6 credits. And then he uses Whizzard to trash the blacklist. So it's... blacklist is gone. Now, do you not just immediately use the clone chip? Because what if... He's got another blacklist in hand, or I mean, you won't have interns, but even someone like that just. I feel like you use it. I don't know what he wants to install, Parasite or. So Tim's just taking money. You feel like he's just waiting for the agenda. If he had it, he'd surely score it by now. I guess NAPD is the exception. If you had an NAPD, maybe you just throw it down. I mean, behind the wraparound or something.
Yeah, I think if you have an APD, you stick it down. I mean, if you put that behind even the Galahad with the knight on it, he's going to need 10 credits to get that.
So, Clone Chip has Parasite the Lancelot, which means now R&D is now wide open. So, what do you reckon? He's got a medium in hand or something like that?
A medium in hand would be pretty
start
useful.
wrecking. Yeah, we'll see. It's he's just going to run just a normal run. So, see Jackson. Whizzard obviously doesn't care about Jackson. He's going to run as an Astro. That's the Astro that Tim wanted.
4 points.
He is on 4, so there's only 3 points left to record for Mark. So let's see. He's just going to keep checking. It's an NAP that he can afford. Yikes!
Whoa, six
so
points.
Now he's just going to run again, right? What have we got? It's a pad. Okay.
The crowd gasped at that point.
So and there's a sandstone on the table that he can use to score out. An NAPD, it turns out, with the Astro counter. So he does get 7. He had game in hand. Can you imagine if Mark had won on that turn?
That would have been insane.
It would have been awful. He pulled 4 points.
I've got no way of getting in anywhere.
Yeah, okay, so Tim dodged a bullet there, but he just kind of set up. He knew his matchup. I liked how he played in that game. He knew he was playing against Eater and Whizzard, so he knew that assets weren't going to live forever. He just needs 1 ice, everything. Keyhole would have been a great solution. I'm going to assume that Keyhole's in that deck.
Yeah, that would have really helped ramped up the pressure and made Tim had to put some of his resources on R&D. But it didn't come, and Mark was always on the back foot. I just never think he really had the chance to. He got quite lucky on R&D at the end there, and that's what happens if you play fast and loose. There's some of those games you might lose. But
he could have snatched it on that last turn, but if he had, you'd felt like he hadn't won. He hadn't earned the win. Sure. Is that maybe that's harsh.
I mean, if he'd had a medium, it would have been different.
Yes, that's true.
He saw 3 different cards just on Axis
runs. Yeah, trashed Jackson, then 2 agendas. So
if he'd had medium, that last run would have been going in for. He'd have seen 2 or 3 deeper than that, right. And
got 4
then
runs.
He could have won. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And obviously Whizzard actually helps with medium as well, because it helps you, burn your way through assets, get those extra accesses on the subsequent
runs. You just
runs.
trash the first thing you see, regardless.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So unfortunately Mark goes home, but he has did very well. Now he's from Spain. There wasn't a lot of overseas representation at the UK Nationals.
No, I think because we're so early, not so many people travel.
That's true. It was in May. It was outside of the tournament season.
Outside of the national season normally, when people are fired up. Which I think is one of the reasons so many UK players travel to other places, was because they're like, I didn't win our nationals, so
that's true.
I can now try and go to the French and the German and the Nordic. And
yeah, that's true. There was a fair amount of UK representation at lots of the European national level events. Yeah, very strange. So now we talked a little about Whizzard. You were playing Whizzard on the day.
Yeah.
So you felt like Whizzard was a good... he was really good against the meta. And do you feel like it was well positioned against NEH? That Marc maybe had the stronger side of the matchup?
I don't know. Do you ever have a strong... I don't know if you're ever above 50 in that matchup. It's definitely not the worst. But, yeah, I don't know. I played a lot of NEH in the day and did okay. Wraparound was a problem, but we were just playing I was playing such a different Whizzard to Marc. Like, Marc... This was before the L4J deck. So this is before...
Yes. Only very shortly before, though.
Shortly before, but it was a pack before that. So... Marc obviously was sticking with the Eater Keyhole that's often in Valencia or something like that and saying, as a meta call, I'm going to try Whizzard. And I was doing Rainer Headlock, but as a meta call in Whizzard.
Yeah, okay.
So Whizzard Headlock. So they're very different decks, but I do think the reason Whizzard did so well was because the best decks had so many assets.
But we've talked about Tim before. He plays NEH a lot. He knows a lot of the back of his hand, that deck. Now Grail is an interesting decision.
It was, yeah.
Which probably caught it definitely did catch at least one person off guard.
Yeah, I'm sure it got
one of his previous elimination games. But it would have caught some people off guard. I mean, Marc obviously wasn't expecting it. Now it's possible that Marc was also playing NEH. Remember, so it's possible that he was trying to. He maybe just assumed it was Butcher Shop. I don't know. So he was a little surprised to see Grail, and suddenly that changed a lot of his expectations about how he was going to play. And I think from that point he did get. Not more aggressive. He'd already been aggressive before that, but he cared less about floating high credits.
Yeah.
He'd had a lot of economy resources before that. I think
he certainly wasn't expecting the Grail. Anyway,
no,
that was short. And I'm not sure if the Grail is interesting.
Yeah.
And Tim obviously did phenomenally well with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I find it hard to justify.
I like Grail. I don't know. I feel like it's quite fun.
Sure, it is fun. But right. I mean, if you tried to play it in the current meta right now, you were just parasites coming out of everywhere, and this was a huge problem with Grail. With a 1 strength, 2 strength, and a 4 strength piece of ice, a couple of parasites, and you have problems with Grail. So I think that would be the problem in the current meta. But at the time, Tim obviously made a great choice, played it well. He just made it to the final.
That's right. So Tim progressed to final. So the battle lines are set now, Joey. There's 2 remaining, and one of them with the UK national champion. So in the final, we're going to have Alex White, who I believe had a 12-2 record on the day from the Swiss, and battled his way undefeated through the elimination. He came in through the winners bracket, and Tim, who's 11-3 from the Swiss, he was seed number 4 going into the cup, and he lost in the second elimination round, so he had to battle his way all the way through the losers bracket. He's played
a lot of games now without a break.
Yes, and he has
Alex
not got
up. 2 hours or something for this game.
So Alex had, I think it was an hour and a half break. He had a 3-round break. Yeah. Because he played way back in the 4th elimination round and hasn't played since. So I actually don't know what he did. He went away. He probably went away.
Yeah, he wasn't watching the games.
His thoughts,
he went back to the hotel.
Got some fresh air.
Sat around.
A pint, I don't know, whatever.
Had a pint, yeah. No, I think he just sat around, got some food.
So obviously, as is the case, Alex is undefeated and Tim has lost, so we're in double elimination. So if Alex beats Tim in the first game, then he will win the whole thing.
Tim needs both of these.
But if Tim wins, then there would be a replay and Tim would have to win again. So he would have to give Alex both of his losses on the day from the cup. So it's possible there'll be 2 games. But to start with, the first game will be Tim's playing NEH.
Tim's playing NEH again.
It says here that... oh no, wait. Hold on a minute.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's playing Kate.
Yeah,
right. He's playing Kate. He's playing Kate. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this round. He played NEH in this round.
Yeah, Kate VRP, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, you're quite right. So in the final, Tim played Kate, and Alex played RP. So
how fitting of this current snap of the meta. We'd see Kate hit RP in the grand final.
There's a lot of Kate and there's a lot of RP, so I'd say the odds are pretty good. Do we have anything particular to say about this matchup? Maybe not.
It's Kate RP.
Yeah.
They both have got a really good fighting chance. They're pretty evenly matched, I think. They both know what they're doing. They both have practiced this matchup.
Yeah.
I think Kate probably has the upper hand just because runners are strong.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like to call
It's
it.
UK meta as well, so it's
yeah.
Kate with Proco, so that swings helpfully. Yeah.
Don't mention Proco.
Don't mention Proco. But Kate with Proco, if Tim is running Proco, I think that will help him in this matchup.
I think he is, yeah, because we saw him in previous games playing.
He is playing Proco,
yeah.
Which is for this matchup, so he's expecting it.
Good.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay,
Grand
great.
final. UK
Yeah,
Nationals,
I'm looking forward to
exciting.
it as well. Yeah, I can't wait. Great. All right, so I'll see you next time then, Joey.
See you next time.
And we'll see you next time as well.